for college algebra for the 2016 year. My name is Stacy Keene and I'm going to be the instructor for this course for the 5 weeks that we have. I wanted to take a little time to show you how the course is run and point out to you and highlight some things that I want to bring to your attention in the course. This page that you're looking at right here, which is going to be the default home page when you log into my math lab every single time, will contain any of the announcements that I send out to the class over the next 5 weeks. Be sure that you have registered with an email address that you intend on checking, because that is the way that I communicate with you in my math lab. I can make an announcement and I will not only post the announcement here on the course homepage, but it will also be emailed to you as well. So, I know that you've already clicked on the Getting Started link because you're watching this video, but I do want to point out a few things in the syllabus. Now, I'm going to leave you to read the syllabus on your own. You are responsible for the material contained within the syllabus and understanding what is required from you in the course, but I want to highlight a few things. The first is right here where I'm addressing graphing calculators. Now, we require that you have access to either a TI-83 or an 84 graphing calculator. And by access, I mean you either have a leftover one that you had from high school, or there are many things online where you can have access to a graphing calculator on your computer, a smartphone, and a tablet. There are just a ton of graphing calculator applets and stuff like that out there, but I would encourage you to make sure that you look for ones that are similar or emulate the TI-83 or the 84, because that's the graphing calculator that I'm going to be using, and so it's easier to follow the steps that way. Now, two emulators that I have found are listed for you here. These are the bulleted emulator or information that are right here. The Graph and Calc 83 is a $5 app that you can purchase for either an iPhone or an iPad, and I think it's $5. It's $5 or $5.99, but it's the only thing that is supported on an on an iPhone or an iPad, and it really does look a lot like the 83 graphing calculator. The other one that I've found that is really wonderful is called Wabbit. Now, this is free, and you can download this onto any Android phone or tablet, but you can also access it by downloading it on either a Windows or a Mac operating system. So on a computer, you can download it for free as well. So these are two choices, with the most expensive being the $5 to $5.99 one right there, for you to be able to still have access to a graphing calculator that would be similar to what we're going to use in the course without having to purchase the one that is, around $120. Now, as you will find out when you read through the course syllabus, we have a proctored final exam. So if you do not have your own graphing calculator and you've been using one of these off of a computer or a smartphone or a tablet, and you come here to the testing center to take the final exam, you can't use any of that technology, but they have graphing calculators for you to check out there. So that problem is solved. The next thing I want to talk to you about is just the pacing of the course. So this is a 16-week course that we are condensing into 35 days. So that's 5 weeks that we're going to use to cover all 16 weeks worth of material. It just so happens this summer one session we have 35 days and we have 35 assignments. So that might give you an idea of how to pace yourself for the semester. You have to finish all of the assignments before the actual date of the final, otherwise you're not able to take the final. But because this is an accelerated course, I have chosen to open all assignments. That's homework, quizzes, and tests. All assignments are open for you as of right now, and the only due date is that the entire course, every assignment that is given, so all 35 assignments, are due by July 4th, 11:59 p.m. So if you're watching the fireworks, make sure that you've gotten your assignments completed before 11:59 p.m. that night. Now, let's talk about those assignments for just a second. You have homework, quizzes, and tests that comprise the assignments in this course. All of this material, all of these assignments are done online through my math lab. There isn't anything written except the final exam. All of your homework assignments are, you have an unlimited number of attempts to get that question right. And so you can theoretically do it a gazillion times and still make 100. Okay, that might be your goal that you're trying to do. Now, the quizzes come from the homework, and they're really just more of an opportunity for you to kind of see for yourself how much of that material you're understanding. So because of that, you have 3 attempts at the quiz. So once you sit down and you open the quiz up, you have to complete that quiz in its entirety. But if you don't make a grade that you're happy with, or if you don't make a grade that meets the prerequisite, you have 2 more attempts at that quiz to make the prereq. Finally, you have tests. Okay, we have chapter tests for the chapters that we cover in this class, and it's at that point that you're really trying to show me what you've learned in that chapter, and you get 1 attempt at the test. There are 4 chapter tests in this course, and I will drop your lowest chapter test at the end of the course. Now, I mentioned something just a second ago about prerequisites, and the way that the prerequisites work in this class is that you have to make an 80 on your homework assignment before you can go over and attempt the quiz that covers those homework assignments. So you have to make an 80 on your homework assignments. Then the quizzes that we have within that chapter, you have to make at least a 60 on that quiz before you can even attempt the test. So because I am wanting you to really work at understanding and being successful on these assignments before you actually get to the test, this is the progression that you have to use. So you must make an 80 on all of your homework assignments. Quizzes must be up to a 60 before you are even going to be allowed to access that test. This is very important because it can affect the pacing that you have set in this course. If you get bogged down and you can't make the required prerequisite score, that can affect you as you move through the course. So you need to be aware of that, and you need to plan accordingly. Now, the final exam. The final exam is a written exam. In other words, it's just a paper test, and you must take this either here at the MCC Testing Center, if you're local, with an approved proctor at your location. So wherever you may be that you're listening to this, you can still take this exam with a proctor where you're at. If that's your choice, then you need to contact me early, like within the first week, so that we can start talking about who qualifies as an approved proctor. Your last option would be to utilize our Zoom, which is kind of like a Skype concept, and I can virtually proctor your exam at a specified time on the date of our final. So although this is an online course, even if you do not live here in Waco, you can still take this proctored exam. In fact, you will be required to take this proctored exam, but that doesn't mean you have to come here to Waco to do it. We have ways around that, that's for sure. But the one day that you have to take this exam is on July the 5th. So you need to start planning right now. If that means you have to take off work, if that means you have to find daycare, if no matter what that means, you need to somehow figure out how you're going to come take or make time to take the exam, the final exam on July 5th. Course grading. So the homework, the quizzes, the tests, and the final, you can see what their weight is right here. Homework counts for 10%, quizzes count for 20%. Those 4 chapter tests count for 45% of your grade, but remember, I'll drop your lowest one. And that final exam, that proctored exam, that counts for 1/4 of your grade. That's 25% of your grade. So that's the way all of this is broken down. I do not give any extra credit in this course, but if you are actively participating in it and seeking clarification as you move through the course, then you shouldn't need any extra credit. Let's address attendance and late work. Okay, this is only a 5-week course. I don't offer any late work, so that's pretty easy. Attendance, however, since it is only a 5-week course, your attendance is based on activity in the course. Okay, so activity is defined as, are you working on any homework, any quizzes or tests? So you must show, and the computer by answering questions shows that you have had activity in the course. You must have activity in the course every single day for the 35 days that you're in this course. You are allowed 4 absences. So an absence is if you do not have any activity in that course for the 24 hours. And you're allowed 4 of those before I'll drop you. And the reason for that is because if you've missed more than 4 days worth of activity in a course that's only 35 days long, then you've really missed a lot of the information. Okay, so everything else in the syllabus I expect you to be able to read over and look at it again, and please feel free to contact me if you have any questions. So the video conference instructions I'm clicking on over here tell you how to get in and utilize Zoom for whatever purpose you might have. This is pretty interesting idea that we are able to offer here in the course. It's basically like having a virtual office hour with me if you'd like. Sometimes it's easier for us to be able to communicate verbally rather than through email when you have questions. And I can share my screen with you and we can go, and answer questions that way, but this is how you get into it. The other link I have offered for you over here is the link to the testing center. So if you're going to come here to campus and take the final exam here at the testing center, you have to make an appointment, and this is the link that you would go to in order to be able to do that. So going back here, let's click on the calendar. This is the suggested pacing that I have given you for the course. Remember, I said that there's 35 assignments. There are 5 weeks in this course, and so what I've tried to do is lay out some sort of suggested pacing for you. So in other words, by June 8th, you should have 25% of the course completed, and that is roughly through section 2.1. And so if you, by June 17th, in order for you to stay on track to completing the course in its entirety by the time you have to take the final, by June 17th you would want to have 50% of the course complete, and that would be everything up through section 3.1 and so on. So you can write these things down, make sure that you're staying on track. Again, I caution you to understand that as you are progressing through this, because the quizzes and the tests all have prerequisites that must be met before you can ever get access to them, you want to plan accordingly as you move through. You might fall behind in some of these sections, but you need to allow yourself enough wiggle room within your schedule to be able to complete it. So how does an online math class work? Well, that is going to come here with the class notes and video lectures. So if you were in a traditional face-to-face class, you would come into the classroom, you would sit down, I would lecture, you would take notes, and then you would move out of the classroom and go complete your homework. Well, to take the place of that, I have all of my lectures videoed, as well as the notes posted for you here. So these links are all hyperlinks that will take you direct to the videos that I have.
So let's look at a couple of examples that
you could see that video popped up for you, and that's how they work. If you have any problems accessing a video, just let me know. If there's anything wrong, if I have an error in a video, let me know that too. So these videos are all divided up kind of by objectives or examples, and they follow along with my lecture notes. Now I have both the blank lecture notes as well as the completed lecture notes available for you. So if I click on the blank lecture notes, these are the lecture notes that I am going to be filling in, so to speak, as I move through the series of videos that you saw on the previous page. If you want, you can print out these pages and just fill in this information as I am going through the lectures. And so each of these links are related to, or each of these links are the videos relating to, whatever section I happen to be covering in the lecture notes. Now there's a bunch of them because I tried to divide them up into smaller pieces so that the lecture videos were not going to be so long, unlike this orientation video, which might stretch a little bit long. I tried to keep the videos, let's say 15 minutes or less. The other link that you see here are the completed lecture notes. So after I was done lecturing, all I did was go through and create a PDF of the lecture that I just lectured off of. And so these are, you can see here that these are my answers to the questions that you just saw on the blank notes. I have this provided for every single section that I cover. And we have homework assignments over every single lecture. Every single section that I have lectured over, you have a homework assignment over that topic. So this is where the meat of the course comes in. You're not expected to learn this stuff on your own. You are expected instead to watch the lecture videos, filling in the notes, and if you have questions as you go through and you're watching my videos, then write down what your question is and send me an email or call me so that I can clarify anything for you. That's going to be the mark of a successful student. Now you can see here that I have 5 chapters listed. I am not going to give you a chapter test over this last chapter 6, but the material here for 6.1, 6.2, and 6.4 will be covered on the final exam. So there's no chapter test over this last chapter, but it's on the final exam. And when you're looking forward towards the end of the 5 weeks, you'll see that I have some information here for the final exam. I have a printed review that you are welcome to print and work on, and that information is given for you right here. Now, where do the assignments happen? Online assignments you can get to by clicking this link right here. So once you've watched the class notes and or once you've watched the lecture videos and taken the notes, this is where all of the homework assignments are going to occur. Now, if I just click on online assignments, notice that it defaults to only showing you homework. So all of your homework assignments are listed here. If I click on quizzes and tests, you'll see the quizzes and tests are listed for you right here, or I can just show them all and they're listed for you here. Let's take a second and look at this so that you're clear on the way this is all being presented to you. You can see here the due date is listed for you. If you'll scroll through this window, you'll see all assignments are due by July 4th, 11:59 p.m., like I stated already. These assignments here with the circle are the homework assignments. You have an unlimited number of attempts and you have no time limit. Starting right here with the first quiz, you see a flag on it, and when I hover my mouse over it, it's going to tell you that you have a prerequisite that must be met, and these are the things in that yellow box that must be met in order for you to be able to access that quiz. Once you have met the prerequisite, this flag will no longer appear. You would just click the link. You can see over here you have 3 total attempts, and the gradebook will automatically enter the highest of your 3 attempts. And then finally we have down here the chapter tests. Again, they have a prerequisite as well, but chapter tests have a time limit. You need to be aware of that. You need to understand that you have a finite amount of time to complete the chapter tests, and you get 1 attempt at those. Let me quickly show you that if I click on the quizzes and tests and scroll down here towards the bottom, there are a list of sample tests and quizzes that are given. I did not create these. These are not going to go into the gradebook at all. If you choose to practice any material before you want to take my chapter tests, you're more than welcome to practice any of these things. Just understand, I don't ever see it. It doesn't go into the gradebook. It's simply for your practice. Now let's talk about that gradebook. When I click on the gradebook link over here, you'll be able to see a current, and I can do show all. You'll be able to see your current overall average once you start doing assignments. It will show up here. And that's where you're going to look at your average. So you'll know exactly what your average is at all times because that's kept current. Now, what about an ebook? We don't have a hard copy that you must purchase in this class, but we do have at all times a virtual book that you have access to, and it works just like a normal textbook. So if I wanted to look up something in chapter 1 because I didn't understand it, or maybe I want some more information besides the lecture video and notes, I can click on chapter 1. Maybe I want to look in section 1.1, and I would click on the e-text right here. If I bring that up, it comes up as another window, and you can scroll through this. I'm just going to scroll down, and you can see this is basically your textbook. What makes it maybe a little more interactive is the fact that it has these little icons over here that allow you to practice an example that would be similar to what this example is right here. It has video links for you to watch the publisher videos. So it's not my videos, it's the publisher videos, but you can always listen to those as well. And so this is another resource for you to be able to use. I realize that students don't use textbooks a whole lot, but if you need some more examples, this is where I would go to look at it. Additionally, if you're struggling with some of the material that I'm assuming you already know, the Appendix A review will show you and give you some additional information on topics that, again, maybe you're struggling with them because you've forgotten how to do them. I would suggest going there. So that's where the ebook comes in handy for us. And tools for success. The two things that I want to point out to you under tools for success. If you're not very fluent with a graphing calculator, I would come here and I would look at this graphing calculator help. There are several links right here that might help you clarify things, and it just might be a good resource for you. Additionally, there's the Student's Solutions Manual. So this contains all of the worked solutions to the answers at the end of the exercises in the textbook. So it may be another resource for you as well. And finally, my contact information. When you want to contact me, you can see that my email is right here. My phone number to my office is right here, as well as my location of the office. If you would like to meet with me, you just need to make an appointment. I am not on campus this summer. I will be working out of my home, but that doesn't mean I can't meet with you, and it doesn't mean I mind meeting with you at all. So please don't feel like you can't set up some sort of appointment to meet with me during normal business hours. Now, if it's after hours, you might want to call, or we could work something else out, I'm sure. If you want to do virtual office hours, you can click this link directly, and we can work on virtual office hours from there as well. By the way, one more thing, if you contact me through email, so if you send me an email to this email address, the only thing I ask of you is that you include the College Algebra 131487 along with your name in the subject line of the email. That way I know what class you're with, and who you are, basically. Make sure that you sign it your first and last name. So this is how the course is going to go. Hopefully you can see how it's arranged. If you have any questions on how any of this is going to work, please feel free to contact me, and good luck with your semester for college algebra.